Hey everybody, it's Debbie Jarman with Pampered Chef, and I wanted to hop on really quick today to show you just a really quick, easy dinner recipe. This is just your everyday average meatloaf. Everybody has their own recipe for a meatloaf. This one's just very easy, very simple, but I wanted to show you one little trick that I've discovered that makes it a little, I think, a little easier and makes cleanup a little bit easier. So I'm going to show you. I've already, I'll try to hold this up. This is our stainless steel mixing bowl, and I've already put, I'm doing, this is about 3.5 pounds of ground beef. I've got a large family. Today's Thursday, and my family comes on Thursday night for dinner. So this is what I'm doing for dinner tonight. It's just plain old basic meatloaf. But anyway, I've already put, like I said, this is a little over 3, not quite 4, but a little over 3 pounds of ground beef, and salt and pepper. And this is onion. I've already chopped up the onion, but I did put it in my food processor. My children, they really don't like to find chunks of onion or chunks of bell pepper in their food. So I go the extra mile and try to do it up really fine. But I did want to show you, if you've looked in the catalog or looked online, you've seen our new Flex. I'm going to be totally honest with you. Anytime we come out with a new product, especially an electric, you know, I'm going to test it out. Because a lot of times I've already got something here that's comparable. I have a KitchenAid food processor that I've been quite pleased with and had it for a couple of years. It's heavy duty. And so when the Flex came out, I thought, I'm not really sure. I'm going to compare. So I have compared, and I will tell you I'm very pleased with the Pampered Chef Flex. And what that is, it is a battery operated food processor, immersion blender, and hand mixer all in one. It comes with this extension here. This is the battery, and I'll show you. I'll demonstrate with the food processor. I've already chopped up my onion. If you don't have these flexible mats and you do a lot of chopping, you need these mats. I use these things y'all, my hands are clean. I use these things every time I cook. Anyway, I had already cut those up using our chef's knife. So I'm going to put the top on our food processor, and it tells you when it's locked. It's got a little symbol right here that lets you know when you've got it locked. I've already got my battery on, but I'm just going to put the battery, and it'll click so you'll know that it's there. And I love the bowl of the food processor. It's got a gripper right here, so when you put it on your cabinet, see, it's not going anywhere. So to use the Flex, there's a little button right here. If you can see it right there, it's a lock button. So you just click that, it unlocks it. I'll turn it around so you can see. So that lets me know it's unlocked. This little indicator here lets me know how much battery power I've got. So then I just click the on button. Oh, I've got to hit my lock again. There we go. And I can adjust. You hear that? All I'm doing is, I'll show you, I don't know if you can see it really well or not, but right here there's a minus and a plus button. So that controls your speed. So, you know, depending on what you're using your food processor for, I'm going to up the ante a little bit here. You have to unlock it every time. And shake that around a little bit, just so the little pieces get and every time you have to unlock it. So anyway, you get the picture. So I'm very pleased with my processor. The immersion blender is really handy, you know, for smoothies. If you're doing a recipe and you just need to, you know, blend up something and you don't want to have to mess up a blender. And then I'm all about cooking with as few dishes as I possibly can to make cleanup very easy. So anyway, the battery, you see the battery, it just clips right on there. It comes with a charger. It comes with 2 batteries, so that if you're doing a lot of cooking, and you know, the battery lasts, depending again on what you're using this for, but typical use, the battery lasts for about 45 minutes. So it's got a lot of battery life, but I do keep the backup battery charged. But I'll take that off, and you can see, again, you don't have to do this to make meatloaf. I just do this because my family doesn't care for the big chunks. Let me turn this. Here, let me get my bowl right here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just putting the bell pepper in. And I'm using Forky. We don't have Forky anymore, but my grandchildren love it when they help me cook, and we use Forky to to help us. Then I'm going to put in a sleeve. Well, actually, before I do that, I'm going to do just one 15-ounce cans of tomato sauce. And y'all, please don't laugh. Those of you that have the can opener, this is the original can opener. If you've got the new one, you know that this one doesn't look like the new one. Every time I get a new one, order a new one, before I can use it, somebody needs one, and I end up giving it to them. And so I'm still using the old one. We're going on 20 years, but it works just as well as it did when I first purchased it. But I had already opened the can. So I'm going to dump that in there. I'm going to use Forky again. Get all of that out. I love our scrapers because you can clean out, and just get the bowl or the can or whatever you're doing really, really clean. Let me get this out of the way so I don't get it all over everything. Okay. And then the last thing that I'm going to put in, or the last two things, these are our silicone prep bowls. Use these a lot too. I've already just beat up 3 eggs, because you need eggs in your meatloaf to hold it together, to kind of bind it. So I had done that beforehand. All right, so I've got that. And then the last thing that I'm going to put in the meatloaf is a sleeve of soda crackers. If you don't have soda crackers, you can use, my mother-in-law used to make pretty much the same recipe, but she used oatmeal instead of crackers. Same thing. So anyway, I've just dumped all that in a bowl, and I'll show you in a minute. I'm not going to do it just a second, but I can't do this with a utensil. I got to get my hands in it, because you really want it incorporated. You want every bite to have a bite of onion, a bite of pepper, you know, a bite of your seasonings, which I only did salt and pepper and crackers. So anyway, I'm going to set that aside just a minute, because this is what I wanted to show you. 1 second. And this is kind of a personal preference thing. I did see where somebody asked a question, you know, what do you cook your meatloaf in? This is our stoneware. This is the loaf pan. This is the new stoneware. In case you didn't know, this came out last fall. It is dishwasher safe. No joke. I've used this several times, and I've put it in the dishwasher, and you can see. So this is our loaf pan. You can do your meatloaf in this. Or, I really prefer not to use the loaf pan. Excuse me, y'all. Got a good towel. Because all the grease kind of sets down in there. Doesn't matter, because you can pour that grease off, so it's just as well. But what I'm going to do is, this is our sheet pan, and this is our baking rack. This cooking rack is really not a baking rack. You can use this for bacon, anything that you want to kind of have elevated. It has legs on it, so that if you needed for it to stand up in your pan, you can do that, or it will bend and you can put it like this, which is how I use it most of the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, this is our spritzer. Those of you that have had a spritzer, they took it and redesigned it. We just got this last week, September 1st, it was launched. And I will tell you, it functions much better than the other one. Was good, and I used it all the time, but this one really does function better. I don't use Pam or any of those cooking sprays anymore. I really do try to stick to natural things. So anyway, I'm just going to take this, and you can see it's spraying really well. What I'm doing is I'm just spraying my rack. You could take Crisco, you know, oil, anything that you got. All I'm doing is to grease it just so and I'm going to take my hand and just rub that rack really good. The only reason I'm doing that is just so my meatloaf doesn't stick. Easier to clean up, seriously. And then the last thing I'm gonna do, this is just water. This is our Easy Read measuring cup. And I'm just gonna cover the bottom of my sheet pan with water. Doesn't take a lot. You know, you don't need a full pan of water. And again, the only reason I'm doing that is that will keep the pan from getting so dirty. Now you could use aluminum foil, line the pan with aluminum foil, but this works just as well because it keeps all that grease from absorbing. So anyway, that is basically it for my dinner tonight for meatloaf, along with some vegetables. So I will I'm gonna get my meatloaf mixed up. You don't want to watch me do my hands in meatloaf, but I'll get that done, and I'll hop back on for just a second and show you the finished product before it goes in the oven. Now I'm gonna put this in the oven at 400, and it'll probably take 45 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. It depends on your oven, depends on how thick your meatloaf is, but you know when it's done. I don't really have a set time, but anyway, I will be back and I will show you the finished product before I put it in the oven.